God be the glory in the highest. I greet every one of you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Our subject of discussion today is refuting one of the supposed contradictions in the Bible. Today, some non-Christians said Jesus Christ did not die because of what was written in the book of Hebrew chapter 5 verses 7. But I'm about to tell you today that it is a lie. Jesus Christ died. And Hebrew chapter 5 verses 7 does not mean Jesus Christ did not die. So let's first check that which was written in the book of Hebrew chapter 5 verses 7. I read, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he has a godly fear. Now, what Hebrew chapter 5 verse 7 was trying to tell us is that Christ offered prayers unto God the Father with strong crying and tears, and God saved him from death because he has a godly fear. The death that Hebrew chapter 5 verse 7 said means death without resurrection. Now, Christ offered prayers unto God the Father. He does not offer the prayer that God the Father, I don't want to die for the sin of the world. As we know that Christ even said that he came to die for the sin of the world. But death without resurrection is what Christ offered prayer unto God the Father for. And God the Father heard his prayer, and he did not undergo death without resurrection. That is why Christ resurrected on the third day. Can we see any place in the Bible where we can see when death means death without resurrection? We can see it in the book of John chapter 11 verses 4. Mary and Martha sent to Jesus Christ that Lazarus is sick, and Christ told them that the sickness is not unto death. But you can see that the sickness of Lazarus resulted unto his death. Is Christ telling lie? No, Christ is not telling lie. The death that Christ means in John chapter 11 verses 4 means death without resurrection. It means Christ knows that Lazarus will actually die as a result of the sickness, but that death will be the kind of death that he will be able to raise Lazarus back to life. So the death that was written in the book of John chapter 11 verses 4 means death without resurrection. What Christ said in John chapter 11 verse 4 is that Lazarus will not die a death. The sickness of Lazarus will not result to death without resurrection. That is, Lazarus will surely die, but Christ is going to resurrect him back. So the death that was in Hebrew chapter 5 verses 7, that God the Father prevented Jesus Christ from his death without resurrection. And that is why there are some Bible verses that told us that God the Father was the one that resurrected Jesus Christ, which means the prayer that Christ prayed unto the Father, that he should not undergo death without resurrection, was heard. That is why Acts chapter 2 verses 24, Acts chapter 3 verses 15, Acts chapter 10 verses 40, Acts chapter 13 verses 30 say that Jesus Christ was bring back to life, was resurrected by God the Father. So that is why I'm up to tell you today that the death that was mentioned in Hebrew chapter 5 verses 7 does not mean Jesus Christ did not die. Jesus Christ did not die, but means that Jesus Christ did not undergo death without resurrection. As we can find it in the book of John chapter 11 verses 4, that Christ told Mary and Martha, that Christ told his disciple that the sickness of Lazarus is not unto death. The death mentioned in John chapter 11 verses 4 does not mean that the sickness of Lazarus will not result to death, but simply means it will not result to death without resurrection, without Lazarus being brought back to life. God bless.